What are your thoughts with regard to how AI and technology it's becoming more of a commonplace thing? What's your viewpoint on will it replace jobs? Will it change jobs? Is it good for education? Is it good for travel? Is it good for experiences? Is it good for hospitality? What are your thoughts?
What AI is never going to replace is my black napkin theory. So,
I'd like to hear it.
Audio Jungle.
I am so excited to be able to get caught up with my dear friend, Gail Lowney Alofsin. I have known her for several years. Gosh, she was one of the first people within probably the first 40 or 50 people that was on my podcast originally. Now we're well over 200 and I think 30 some episodes. It's nice to be able to get you back. Gail, the joy about speaking with you is that every time we communicate, whether it's via text, whether we get to see each other in person, which isn't very often, or whether we have a call like this, we're able to get into some really interesting conversations. And I believe the conversations matter. While we don't have a script for any of our conversations, I think that's the joyous part of what we do, because I want people to be a fly on the wall and to be able to hear the conversations, what I learned from you, maybe what you learned from me, because it's not everyone gets that exposure. Not everyone is in Washington, D.C. Not everyone is hearing me speak or you speak. This, I think, is just a really cool way for our listeners to be able to hear conversations between very good friends that care about helping people, delivering great service, educating others, mentoring others, helping others. I think that's what it's all about. How does that sound for a game plan?
it sounds wonderful. Thank you. It's just, you calm me down just having you here. And you will notice that I am losing my voice. It's probably from being a little loquacious,
What does that mean? I'm going to have to
talkative.
look up that word.
I've been called loquacious since I was 7, and I don't think I've used that word. It just came to my head now and looking at you. I don't think I've used it in years.
Define it. I don't know what that word
Oh,
is.
loquacious is
Yeah,
talkative. It's talkative. My
Okay.
parents used to always tell me that I was loquacious as I was growing up.
But you are also,
But I'm also a speaker and a professor.
I'm not disagreeing with your ability to speak well, but you're also a very good listener too.
I love listening. I
All
love
right.
listening.
Gail, for our listeners, you are, let's see, you're a professional speaker, you're an author, you're a humanitarian, you give back a lot. You are the founder and president of Leadership at All Levels. You are also a University of Rhode Island professor and a mentor to so many different people. I just kind of want to start there. First of all, congratulations on your relatively newer role with University of Rhode Island, official, permanent, I guess you could say. How would you explain your new role? Because it's a lovely position, a lovely title, and you're doing really cool things.
If I was going to say what's the most perfect job for Gail Lowney Alofsin for her last job of her life, besides speaking and training, but this is like the last job, it would be this one. I would have drawn this all out, but I didn't have to. It's going to be a year in June that I have been serving here at University of Rhode Island as the Associate Director of Corporate Partnerships for the Office of Strategic Initiatives at the University of Rhode Island. Now say that fast 3 times.
That's a mouthful.
It is
Sure.
a privilege. It is a privilege. I work for a young man, and I shouldn't even say work for, I work with, because he's a work with, the push-pull leaders. He's definitely a pull versus push leader who has been my boss, quote unquote, for 10 years. I used to call him boss for the week. Boss for the week, how are you? Because when I take the students as to Manhattan for a week in January, and we go in and out of corporations all day long, and then in Boston in the summer, he would be my boss for the week because he'd oversee those programs. When I was walking across campus in 2024, he said, there's this job, this is department we have, training and development, but people call in. We don't have anyone going out and promoting it. And I'm looking at him and I said, tell me more. So I threw my hat in the ring, and it took a long time to go throughout the whole interview process. Universities don't move as fast as private business, at least in my experience. And it all happened at the time. I was working for a company. If you cut me, I bleed it. It's called Newport Restaurant Group. I love that company. They sold our division to Informa. I loved Informa Markets. It's just a wonderful company. I love my boss. But if you have the siren's call of training and education, just like you and I both feel this way, don't ask me twice to come interview.
No, for sure. And plus, you were an adjunct professor for how many years, if we can?
Since January 99.
99.
That's over 50 semesters.
Yeah.
God bless those students. Holy cow.
God bless you, because look at where they have ended up since 1999 because of your care and because of your mentorship and because of your leading. I'm thrilled that you have this permanent role in addition to speaking and writing and training. It's ideal. And I'm so happy that really great things are happening to great people. But I wanted to ask you a couple of things, Gail. When we first met, and we don't need to get back too much into the story, but you were very kind that you were listening to a virtual presentation that I was doing, and you shared that you stopped whatever you were doing and you kept on paying attention, even though your intention was just to have it going on in the background. You kept on stopping, and I like that. And since then, we've become very good friends. You are one of the only individuals, you have taught me this, and not one of the only individuals. You were one of the earliest individuals after I left corporate America that showed me abundance. You would give leads. You would introduce people to me. You would, if you couldn't take an opportunity, you would say, my friend would be great for it. You were one of the first people, seriously, that ever showed me that. And that taught me so much. To this day, it taught me, because I wasn't sure if you were real. What's the motive here? What's the ulterior motive? What does she really want in return? Does she want a gift? Does she want a referral fee? No, you were just being kind because your belief is abundance. Were you always like that, Gail?
Gosh, I hope so. I hope so. I love people, and I know you love people too. And I just believe in people. What I saw that day is I was sitting at my former job, and COVID. So I put on PCMA, had spoken for PCM several times. PCMA, I had put on, what are they doing with podcasts? And then I see you can survive for a year. Who's not going to turn that one on? And I'll be polite. I'll just keep doing my work, listening. And then, who is this man? Is this my brother from Mother? That's a compliment to me, by the way, saying that. So I did what most people don't. And I sent you the LinkedIn message, Mr. Burke here. Hey, Bart, I'm not sure if I was informal. I'll have to look back on the trace. I love what you're saying. The other thing is I was also thinking you'd be so good to talk to the students. And I think this is the first year that we've gone a year that you haven't come in because you're too busy. It can never happen again.
No,
Never.
I agree. I
They need
agree.
you.
I agree.
They need you more than ever. And
Well-
that's when we just started becoming friends and we did some things together. And I just appreciate it so much. I appreciate you.
No, and you're welcome. I appreciate you. But you just bypassed the question. Have you always been about abundance? You just said that you love people and you think I love people. Great. But have you always been about abundance and about giving? Where did that come from?
I'll even go back to one step. When we were young, my mom would always have us pick it was supposed to be our very favorite toy, but we'd have to pick our very favorite toy to give away to someone less fortunate. And I remember my brother one year faking that this little lame toy was his favorite toy. But what would happen is as soon as we give away something, it would somehow come back maybe 3 months later. But I also think things come back threefold. It's a very odd thing that she'd have us do, but it really worked. The other thing is growing up, I never believed in cliques. I didn't want to be part of it. And I didn't, Bart, if you were my friend and Mary was my friend, I wanted to be friends. I didn't want, Bart likes Mary more than he likes me. I was never like that. I loved people. I love bringing people together for friendships.
That's very
I don't know if
special.
that's odd.
No, it's very special, but it really goes back to, and I don't remember, I think you maybe did share a little bit of that with me. It goes back to growing up and your mother was trying to teach you something, that if there was something that is special to you, giving it away is probably going to be perhaps even more special to someone that doesn't even have three things to choose from. Were you ever able to see the impact of who the gift went to? Did you ever?
My mom would bring us, we would visit lots of different places growing up. I remember, why am I remembering the Salvation Army? Because you don't see people at the Salvation Army, but we would go and we'd see pictures of people we would see people in our community. And I don't even know if saying less fortunate is pejorative or not. I don't want to be condescending, but I think when it really struck me is when I was 17 years old in high school, volunteering for literacy volunteers. And now, could you still do this today? I don't know. But they'd have us go shopping with the people we were helping. They were picking out the items by the pictures on the can because they didn't know how to speak. I mean, or to read English. That really, and they were you could just tell that they needed services, just some services. Then my mom would always have us play with the young kids who might have some disabilities. And that was wonderful. Those are just different programs.
And being brought up that way, no, it makes sense. And that resonated with you. You didn't revolt against it. You embraced it because you realized probably that you feel good, helping people, connecting people, being kind to people. How are you able to handle, even to this day, Gail? I share that I'm always a fan for the underdog. And I don't even know if this is another word, but I do not like the overdog. I don't like people that are cocky and arrogant and mean and rude and condescending. I don't root for the overdog. And I have to temper myself because it's pretty evident if someone just wants to only talk about them and how great I am and how great I am and how great I am, I probably don't want to hear it. And maybe I'll say a sarcastic comment to let them know that you didn't ask me a single question about me. I'm trying to get better at that. But how have you been able to deal with perhaps not nice people, arrogant people, politically motivated people, backstabbing people, selfish people? Because in your world, in your whole career, your whole lifetime, you've seen a wide variety of people. How do you handle those that are the mean, cocky, arrogant overdogs?
Are you going to make me tell my true confession here? I don't even see if I see it. I don't even have a photo. Hold on. Here, my book, Your Someday Is Now. What are you waiting for? Not available on Amazon yet, even though it's been out for 10 years, because Amazon keeps a big portion of the money and I give the money away. But not to promote the book, but
promote the book.
Every bad behavior that I have experienced is illustrated in this book without naming the person, except for one bad behavior that I only share in seminars, unvideotaped. But it's all outlined here. What I would do is sit in meetings or sit in staff meetings or after an appointment, I'd go write it out. I'd go write out another chapter or another paragraph. Any kind of bad behavior in here is how I dealt with it, is I just would write it out. But the other thing is, in one of the chapters, it's all about bless and release. And I bless and release negativity in my life. But I don't mind if I'm with someone and they talk all about themselves. I don't mind, because what is the adage? I know that the thing, we've got the 2 ears, 1 mouth, but there's another adage: when we're listening, we're learning. And I love that.
Regardless of what the people might be saying, it's still an opportunity to learn.
I love then people trust you. They trust you on. I wanted to put the book back so I don't lose that. But they trust you. And I want to bring up one more thing about when you were talking about volunteering and being aware of things. My biggest wake up was 19 when I went to Haiti. And we don't have to go into the whole Haiti story today. I believe we talked about it on the last podcast. But being called at Tufts University, that my dad's been given a year to live. By the way, he's turning 90 on June 27th.
Incredible.
But really, by 2 different doctors saying you've got a year to live. Then he goes to Haiti on a volunteer mission trip and pulls teeth out, like it was a health mission. And he pulls out teeth for the week because people die of dental disease in third world countries. Ends up working outside the clinics of the Sisters of Charity, which is Mother Teresa's order, and building a multi-million-dollar clinic that's still in existing today in Haiti, taking care of 500 people a day, 1,000 people under our umbrella of care. I have been blessed to go to Haiti since I was 19. I don't know how many years decades. To volunteer in Haiti, with all due respect to your past with the Ritz-Carlton, I would rather spend a week, 10 days, 2 weeks in Haiti than at the finest Ritz-Carlton in the world. There's nothing better. People will say, that's not true. She doesn't really mean that. Oh, I do. You know I
Why?
do.
Why?
You would too, Bart. You would love it to
Yeah.
get in there.
Tell us
What?
why.
Oh, I tell you, because it is a gift to me to be in Haiti, not for those people. Anyone can go down and I usually work as a dental assistant. Anyone can go down there and learn how to do that. But to work with people and see their beautiful face and their kind heart and communicate through eyes and see the gratitude and the faith in these people who have nothing is so rewarding. It is not Gail's so great going to Haiti. My dad and mom building Haitian Health Foundation and building it up to what it is today. My sister who left a really great government job, or I should say state job, to be the executive director. That is like huge. They should be commended for their work. But for me, it's for my soul. It's for me. I could be anybody going down there. I just feel so blessed to have had that experience in my life. It feels so good to help people. And
what's so cool, Gail, as you share that, this is real. To all of our listeners, ladies and gentlemen, this is real. This is not an act. This is not a performance. This is how Gail really is. And that's why you're special. You're so special. And that's why you're one of the only individuals that I've asked to come onto the podcast twice. Not like that's any big honor, but
it's an honor. Come on now.
It's an honor. Great. But what you share and how you share it, I think is just so critically important that even with your book, that money's not for you. It is going to be, it's donated. It's been donated for the last, is it 10 years since the book?
It's 2014, so longer than that, 12 years, but it had a second edition. But it's $55,000. And I think we could have a lot more if I did put it on Amazon instead of selling them out of my basement. We'll talk about that offline. It's time.
Maybe I have some
Time
idea.
to stop the basement sales.
For sure. With your approach and with your attitude and with your kindness, do things, you were talking about negative people. We were talking about negative people and that you bless and release them and you move on. Do things bother you? Do you get sad? Do you get worried? Do you get upset?
I do. I have to tell you, I'm going to go back to Haiti for a minute. It really upsets me. Like working in Haiti, it's when you come back in at the end of the day and you're really processing what you just saw and what you just smelled, what you just felt. And then you take that home and food being thrown out. I know there's nothing we can do about that. It was very difficult for me working at Newport Restaurant Group. I loved it. Oh my God, 35 years. I was the event division. But the amount of food that was thrown out, the amount of just waste that we have every day gets me sad. But also I do a lot of work in our community. And Newport I'm on 5 boards, which believe me is 4 too many. They're aligned with health, education, and God, and business. I blanked on the last one. That's the Chamber of Commerce. But I'll tell you, our community has, I believe we're now the 5th highest demographic. This is Newport, Rhode Island, mansions, the Gilded Age television show. We have the 5th highest demographic of poverty in the state of Rhode Island. Why? We have more nonprofits in Newport than in the whole state of Rhode Island, more nonprofit organizations. I just also feel, hey, Gail, it's great that you went to Haiti. It's great that you still Haiti. That's what I do. That's my gift now. It's really fundraising for Haiti. I can't go now because of the gang violence is so bad. We have our Haitian doctors and nurses taking care of everyone. And we have a wonderful country director who lives in the Dominican Republic. So she flies back and forth. But to be able to help in the community is everything to me. I ask if people do listen to this podcast and they say, hey, we want what you're drinking. We love this. I wouldn't have done this if my parents had started volunteering at 7 years old. I wouldn't have known volunteerism. I'm always one phone call away, to let people know how they can get started with it.
We'll make sure that we share your details appropriately.
Everything. My cell phone out there. It's fine.
Reach out to you. And again, I keep on asking you questions about you and you keep on deflecting to more of the universe and more about the world. I want to know what happens when you get upset, not because of poverty, but you get upset because someone cuts you off. You get upset because someone lies to you. Someone disappoints you, not for the greater good, but for how you feel. Do you get upset?
But it's funny when you say someone cuts me off. My mom always said we have to say a prayer for people when they cut us off.
Of course you have that. You've been brought up that way. I know.
My dad wouldn't say that, Bart.
But how are you able to deal with things that bother you that are personal to you, not for the world, not for mankind, not for Haiti, not for a cause, but things that make you upset. Do things make you upset just because it makes you upset? And the reason why I'm asking this is that however you handle your peace, my sense is that you have great contentment and great peace. I know it has a lot to do with faith, but how do you handle things when someone yells at you, client yells at you? They never would, of course, but how do you handle things like that, Gail? What advice?
Well,
Looking for advice for our friends.
people have yelled at me, and I learned through Newport Restaurant Group that you just let people yell. You learn this at Ritz-Carlton and Marriott. You just let them vent if they were mad, because they're mad about something I didn't do, but something that might have transpired in a program that I had sold them. I was in sales and marketing, God, for 30 years with the company. You just wait, and then you stop and you listen, and you just let them vent. Then I would just do my best to try to solve the issue if it could be solved. That's all. I would never take it personally. I didn't. I don't know why.
That's also a gift to not take things. I will share this when I'm presenting, that everyone has something. You just don't know what. Now, if we are kind enough and empathetic enough and insert humanality, which we can talk about here in a moment, then maybe you find out because you sincerely want to know what is going on with you. But 99.9% of the time, when someone overreacts or reacts to you, probably has nothing to do with you. I think that's a very healthy, fresh approach, but it's hard to remember sometimes, and it's hard to implement sometimes. Is it ever hard for you?
I'm really going to have to think about that. No, and it could be also because I'm at that age in my life where when I'm looking at the future, it's a lot shorter than the past years I've had. I want to make every moment count and not we just don't know. I lost my best friend in February. I think I might have told you this privately. It was my best friend from high school, and it's still hitting me really hard. It's still hitting me hard. It's not like your best friend from high school that you haven't seen since high school. COVID brought us back together again, especially when she lost her daughter. She lost her daughter from suicide. COVID again, and we'd see each other every month. And then it became every other month. But at least we saw each other and we shared time. I realized, wow, she's gone. Now I just found another friend, and I'm getting to the age where people are dying, and I think I'm too young for that, but I'm not. I want to get up and appreciate every day and really look at people. What lessons can we learn? At the beginning, I told you about my amazing boss without even telling you his name. And I'm not a sycophant. I'm not here to kiss ass. I just swore. Oh my gosh. Do you have to believe that?
No,
I usually say kiss ass. I'm so used to spelling my swear. My big swear is ASS.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Willing in the class, I'll be like ASS. Anyway, I don't say it like that. You got to edit that out. But my boss's name is John O'Leario. The reason I say this is a young leader. He's, I believe, 38 years old, but he has that, again, the push or the pull versus push leadership, which you don't see a lot. His boss is the one who really introduced me to the university, Dean Labuti, who I adore. What is the whole campus? If you've got an issue with Dean or John, you have issues, because it'd be like if someone had an issue with you. Right? I'm segueing that to, I am privileged to come in every single day to positive people. Who gets to do that? Who gets to? So how can you not have a good attitude? No. So what happens, Bart? When you are in a job where there isn't positivity, because I was in one of those jobs too, or even at Newport Restaurant Group, which I love, you have different managers that came in, and I had 4 bad managers in my 30 plus years there. 4. I was almost going to leave. Now, I've never said that on camera before, so you're getting 2 things out of me today. But I was going to leave, and my dad said, don't leave. Wait to get fired, or they're going to cook their own goose. He said, you have a really good job. Don't leave. And they ended up being let go, all 4. So that was a good thing there.
So being patient, not changing yourself, and allowing the universe to correct things when appropriate. And that's what happened by getting the story.
It did. The other thing I was thinking of, and again, now I'm going back to, zippering a little or zigzagging a little bit here. But one of the big lessons I learned at Newport Restaurant Group was a lesson. I say Newport Restaurant Group again, and I'm going to give another shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to Tim O'Reilly, who was my original boss. He's in his 80s now. And he led by I'm going to swear again,
Go ahead.
kick the ASS kind of management. Did you have that at Marriott or Ritz-Carlton?
I
You
had it,
didn't physically do it, by the way.
no, I probably had it prior, maybe the first 10 years of my work. When I was with Ritz-Carlton, it was much longer into it. So in the beginning, there were some people like general managers were kind of kick your butt type of attitude. There were some really tough, I'm going to make you cry in order to make you listen type of perspective, my way or the highway. I've seen those people. What happened with that scenario?
So, but then his son, so I loved that, Tim. I even remember a review where I was arguing with the performance review. And by the spot on in hindsight, but I'm like, no, but who argues? I didn't know that you didn't argue. I'm arguing with my boss. It was my third job out of college. He's in the performance review and he stood behind his chair. He got up and said, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? And I'm 25 and I went like that. And I thought, oh my God, this man is like my dad. And I am being disrespectful to him. And I had a whole shift. I said, tell me more about how I can improve. And we became such tight friends and he became a mentor. And I listened to him from that point forward, because for someone to get that mad, I'm surprised he didn't say, who do you listen to now? Get out, you're fired. But he didn't. I sat there thinking, who do I listen to? Fresh mouth here. This man is giving me constructive criticism. Then after that, I was able to work for his son. And I say this because with Newport Restaurant Group and here at URI and the Office of Strategic Initiatives, we deliver experience. The experience becomes the message. The experience becomes the message. It isn't just, here at Office of Strategic Initiatives, we are delivering training and professional development programs, Rhode Island, Mass, New England, the country. We go into corporations and that's what we do. We bring in amazing trainers like you who come in and they teach anything from leadership to conflict resolution to mental health, first aid. At Newport Restaurant Group, we were serving people like you were.
About the experience.
The experience.
It's about the experience. So I'm going to switch gears just a little bit,
Okay.
Gail, on you. I had the pleasure of speaking just yesterday to the CEO and founder of a company called Go Rentals, G-O, Go Rentals. His gentleman's name is Kay Gitteben. He and his brother started a luxury car rental company 30 years ago with process that what were car rental companies doing poorly 30 years ago? Maybe the car that you wanted was not available. Maybe you had to wait. Maybe you had to wait in line. Maybe the car was dirty. Maybe people just processed you. His whole concept was very visionary, give you a 5-star hospitable service with regard to a rental car. If you want a 1992 Acura Integra, because that's what you're used to driving, we will get you, even to this day, a 1992 Acura Integra, as long as it has under 15,000 miles on it. Just incredible stories. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that it was about the car. For our hotel friends that are listening, it's not about the room. For what you're even saying, it's about the experience for areas. I'm curious if we can just talk a few moments about the need for experience, the need for customer interaction, the need for, I think I shared with you a term that we are currently registering as a trademark, the word humanality. Humanality is being defined from our lens. It is a way to make people feel cared for, not processed, in a world that is being commoditized. It is being more transactional, is being more tech heavy than ever before. We don't want people to feel processed. We want them to feel cared for by inserting humanality, our empathy, our graciousness, our sympathy, our love, our kindness, our gratitude, all these different things. What are your thoughts with regard to how AI and technology, it's becoming more of a commonplace thing? What's your viewpoint on, will it replace jobs? Will it change jobs? Is it good for education? Is it good for travel? Is it good for experiences? Is it good for hospitality? What are your thoughts?
What AI is never going to replace is my black napkin theory. So
I'd like to hear it.
my black napkin theory. I have to, this is 15 years ago. And I realize I don't even think I've put this into an article yet. So I'm going to do that
No, because
very soon.
yes, because
I
you've not
speak
told
about
me either.
I speak about it a lot at conferences, but it's what's your black napkin? It goes back to, and I want to read this exactly verbatim because it's what I have on my syllabus, because I want the students to look at our class as a customer service class, even though it's not. It's communication and leadership class. But service is what you do for people. Customer experience is how people feel because of you.
Great.
I want to make sure that they have respect when we have guest speakers coming in, and they have respect when I come into the room, the same respect I'm going to have for them. But that segues from the black napkin from your segue.
Please.
AI is never going to replace that. It's never going to replace the way we make people feel. It's never going to walk into a restaurant and see that I'm wearing black pants and my client's in gray trousers, and the server, without saying anything, comes over and removes the white napkin that's already there and puts down a black napkin for both of us. Let's say a word. And at the time, it's not like that now, but at the time, Hemingway's in Providence was the only restaurant doing that of our 12 restaurants, I think, back then. Their general manager, no surprise to any of us, became the director of training after a few years, Toby Sanborn, an amazing man. But what I turn that into more in customer service training is that is experience that shows I care. I see you. I see that you're wearing those pants. I'm not going to let you leave with lint. I was in a restaurant, not a Newport Restaurant Group 1, when I had to get up and go to the maitre d' station and ask, do you have a brush? Because when my client stood up, his whole area was white. And they said, we actually do. I said, wouldn't a great solution be just to get a black napkin? I don't think the manager wants to do that. I'm like, do you want to write it down?
We're not going to do it. We already have stock of white napkins for whatever reason.
The lesson applies to everywhere. It's hospitality, it's education, it's healthcare, it's corporate sponsorship, it's leadership, it's business. What is our black napkin? It's something we automatically do. Now, a thing I love that you do, that your audience may or may not know you do, is your gratitude stones. Please, gratitude, because I want my audience and the people I share this. This is just something you do. You do it automatically. Just the way Hemingway's did the napkin automatically.
You're very sweet to see it. As we say that, I'm reaching into my pocket. I've not been out of the house yet, but I have some over here. But I wanted to be able to let people know when we encounter them, whether it's during travel or at a conference or in a restaurant or at a hotel or at a golf course, anytime that we see people that we believe, that I believe, including Terry as well, that someone is exceptional. Someone is doing what most people don't do. They are putting forth the extra effort. They are noticing someone else. They are being kind. They're being careful. They're being thoughtful. They're inserting humanality. That's what we give. And it's not a tip. It's not a dollar bill, because you wouldn't give a dollar bill to someone that you watch hold open the door for 20 people coming out of a grocery store. You're not going to give them $1 and say, well done. You want to give them something more meaningful. And we share these stones and we tell them what it means, that it represents goodness. It represents gratitude. It represents that I see you. I saw what you did. I see who you are. And the stone element to me relates to the universe and earth, that we all are different. We have choices that we can make. And the people that are on this earth, unified by the ground, that's stone. That's the element of stone. You have a choice that you can either do something, you cannot do something. And there's so many times where we see people that very easily could do something. I could have flying into Dallas Airport just the other night. I watched to see when you pass through, after you get your bags or you pass through the last security point, who holds open the door and who doesn't. Who is mindful when there's people with a tight connection on the back of the plane that should be let out sooner than later because they need to make their connection. We were at a coffee shop not long ago. The place was just jamming, and there was only one young lady that was responsible for cleaning up all the tables and then helping people to sit down. Just one person to do this. And you could tell that the people were getting snippy. I've been waiting for 10 minutes. My food's already here. I don't have a place to sit. And I saw her, and this is not me bragging about my ability to notice, anticipate, or to over deliver, but I think it's good stories to show that we all can do that. Just pay attention. And so in this example, I said, she was working hard, and I said, thank you for doing what you're doing. She said, that's really crazy today. It's not always easy. And then later when we finished, I said, oh, by the way, she came to clean our table. And I said, I just saw this $5 bill fall out of your pocket. You better put it back in your pocket. And she was just blown away, like almost tears, to the point of, you saw me, you noticed me. In that example, it was appropriate to give a tip, but it just made her day. When we share gratitude stones with people, it is just such a powerful thing. I will tell you that probably well over 90% of people, when we share a stone with, there is water in their eyes. Because in today's world of uncertainty and worry and negativity, someone is taking the time to say, I see you. And then Gail just presented to a group not that long ago, and someone pulled me over to where their backpack was. And they said, you presented to us 5 years ago. I want to show you two things that are in my bag. One was the gratitude stone, and one was the book. So that's why you and I and others do what we do, because if we can help see someone, even for a second, even with a $1 gratitude stone, it makes a big difference. So thank you for bringing that up.
I absolutely love it. Last Thursday, I did the keynote for the Rhode Island Assisted Living Association. And if there are people who are really seeing their people, it's people who work in assisted living.
Agreed.
If there are people who are really seeing the people, it's all those flights that you're on and I'm on.
Yes.
It's thankless. Those flight attendants, we all know, are not paid until the doors close. So all their time in the airport, waiting, delayed flights. I always thought, I didn't know this part. What happens if the flight doesn't take off and they go home? Are they not paid at all? My husband's a pilot. I've got to ask him about that.
I would think in some manner, I would think that they would be. It's almost like if you go to work and there's not enough customers for you to serve, you should be paid at least a minimum amount of time. But I would think so. But you're absolutely right. It's those people that need to be recognized. And it's so funny that I'll share one story, and I want to get back to you just for the last couple of moments. But I have a business card of a gentleman with United Airlines. His name is Nick Pino. We're going to give a shout out to Nick. He also
Nick.
Another handwritten card, and he also has created a little coin, which is somewhere here, with a character, like a caricature, almost like a cartoon image of his face, because he's been flying with them for many years. I wrote about him years ago, Gail. This is crazy. I wrote about him years ago because he was making people feel comfortable. There was an older couple, and I wrote it on LinkedIn, and it got 100,000 views and 10,000 forwards, and just massive. But it was something along the lines of service that shocked me. But it was this gentleman, Nick. He was taking care of an elderly couple that was not comfortable in flying. And he kept on checking on them, making them feel comfortable, would kneel down below them. Are you good? Are you comfortable? Oh, this is just bumps. You're fine. It's just so kind. But then he also recognized someone that had a birthday and brought them a handwritten note card that said, with their name on it, handwritten note card, signed by all of the flight attendants and the pilot. Truly, who does that type of thing? So it has been years since I've seen him. And sure enough, we're on a flight the other day. And this also sounds self-serving, but I got upgraded. I was traveling with Terry, and I said, Terry,
deserved after all your flights.
But I said, Terry, I want you to have it. I want you to have it. And I guess that created a little bit of a shockwave for the first class flight attendants, that they're like, oh my gosh, so a husband gave it up to his wife. That is just the nicest thing. And what can we do for this person? Blah, blah, blah. So sure enough, who comes back, and he looks at me and he's just like, do you remember me? And I was like, a second. I looked at his name badge. Nick, it's Nick again. And that story is it's about connection, but it was about me recognizing him. I got his information because I said, may I share this photo of you? And may I talk about how great you were to provide customer experience for these travelers, for the birthday people, for the The elderly couple that was scared to fly, may I that? And he said, of course. 5 years ago, or whatever it was, gave him a gratitude stone. I had a gratitude stone in my pocket and gave him a new, refreshed, different color gratitude stone. But that's easy for us to do, Gail. That's easy for us to do. And I know you're also very good at recognizing people and surprising and delighting people. So just a few more questions, because I don't want this to be about me, and you made me talk me.
I love talking about you, and people
Well,
want to hear this.
You're very nice. How do you think we can encourage more people to do what most people don't do?
Be conscious of it. Here's one thing I teach the students and audiences: four touch points, and then bring it up to 10, and by 10 in the morning. So for instance, when I go to the gym in the morning, first thing, I'm in there really early. And then there's the grumpy people. Good morning. That's probably annoying them more than anything else. The people who are cleaning. I work out at the Marriott gym, so it's beautiful, Newport Marriott. And so the people who are cleaning, knowing their names, saying hello, loving them. Just, I absolutely really becoming, I feel like I'm friends. I hope they're my friend too. The front desk guy who's been there all night, and he's still being pleasant in the morning. Who does that? How can you stay up all night and then be pleasant in the morning? But I try to do touch points from my heart, not because some mornings I do, some mornings I don't. Flora, who's cleaning the floors, I'm like, Flora, you're going to live to be 100. She's, I hope 101. And Ben at the front desk, what happened last night? Was there anything really exciting? Sometimes there is. I love to hear what he can tell me. He can't tell me everything. He tells me good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I love hearing, and wouldn't you love a hotel gym every day? Ours is because of all the excitement and the different conferences happening, and you see the people who are tired and they've been setting up their conferences. And I'm like, you're going to have a great conference. Thank you so much for bringing it to the Newport Marriott. I say that to all of them. I said, we bring conferences here too. The company I work for brings conferences here too. So glad. Welcome to Newport. Is there if it gets to a point where they start a dialogue, I'll give them my card and say, send me an email and I'm going to connect you to the person in charge of tourism here. They're going to let you know everything to do because we want you to come back. Yeah. And I think the little touch points, if we can just be kind to the person serving us coffee in the morning, to the person who cuts us off traffic, remember, where are they going? What are they doing? I'm even nice to this person, Bart, and I didn't want to be the other day. There's a lot of traffic on the bridge. We're on an island. Newport's on an island, Aquidneck Islands. There's a lot of traffic on the Jamestown Bridge. And they were going around to swerve in because it was construction. This big fancy car comes swerving in. I'm like, I'm not going to let him in. I'm not going to let him in. And then I let him in. I think everyone was mad at me that I let him in. And I'm not even really that happy with myself that I did now in retrospect. But you know, the people who come all the way down till there's only 3 cars.
Yes, I know.
I don't like that. But then I thought the only reason I'm letting him in is maybe, just maybe, there's some kind of accident, something going on. That's the only reason, because I was playing that little game. That's not my personality. I don't play that little game. And something said, let him in.
You were giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe someone was having an allergic reaction. Maybe they were rushing to the hospital. Maybe someone was giving birth. Maybe they could not miss something, instead of someone that was arrogant and did not simply want to wait like everyone else. We are giving them the benefit of the doubt. So my takeaways from you: use people's names and pay attention. And what are the little touch points? And those, if we can do those 3 things and stop being consumed in this, with this, for this, looking up will allow us, and you're going to hear this one more time, notice, anticipate, and over deliver. And we can do that not just if we're in the hospitality world, not if we're just in the service world, but just as human beings. We can notice, anticipate, and over deliver for anybody that needs it. And we even play this game sometimes. We'll go out with some family friends, and Doug Barman, I had introduced you. And so we were out, this was a while ago. We were waiting in line, I think at a coffee shop. I said, Doug, let's play a game. I said, look and tell me, how many people could you help? And what would that look like? And it was just a game. And what it was, someone dropped a napkin that we saw at a table. Someone and they needed a little bit more water, maybe. Someone was coming through with a baby carriage and no one was holding the door open. And we rattled off 3 or 4 things. And then, of course, we did our best to be able to do those things in which we noticed someone could use some help for. And that's right. And I think everyone can do that. Gail, I want people to learn more about you, of course. What is the best way? What is the best place? You had one more thing to say before I turn.
I have one more thing, and that
Yeah,
is
please.
just as people leave, you did things in 3. I do everything in 4. I'm born April 4th, so I do everything 4/4. So my last thing is identify the black napkin moments because the experience is the message. So what can you do every single day, not 3 or 4 times a day, that deliver the black napkin experience that people are going to talk about it after you leave? The best way to contact me is Gail at gailspeaks.com. So GAIL at gailspeaks.com. My husband would call it Gail. He thinks I should get gailspeaksandyoulisten.com. That's only for him. You've met John, and he has the elevator straight to heaven. That's for sure. No questions asked after being
And I
with me
think
so long.
so do you, and so do you.
Thank
It's
you.
fun. No, my pleasure. It's fun just to get caught up, and just the things that you shared, the stories always help me feel better, gives me new ideas how to become a better person. I know for our listeners, you've had that same effect. So please, you are not connected with Gail. She's widely involved a lot on, so please look her up, Gail Alofsin, Alofsi. Gail Lowney Alofsin is your full name, of course. Gail at gailspeaks.com for email. Got to get it all?
You did. Thank you so much. You're making me smile. My love to Terry too, please, and your family.
My love to your family too, Gail. We will talk soon. Thank you.